Take a slow breath with me and let yourself settle. Let yourself arrive here. Today, I want to talk about something that many of us struggle with, especially after we've spent years pushing and striving and surviving and caring more than we should have. I want to talk about slower seasons, because we've been taught to celebrate the bloom, the achievement, the breakthrough, the promotion, the transformation, the visible growth. But very few people talk about the season before that. The quiet season, the slower season, the season where it looks like nothing is happening, while everything important is happening underneath. And if you're anything like me, those seasons can feel uncomfortable. Because when you've spent much of your life moving, doing, solving, building, holding everything together, stillness can feel unfamiliar. The mind begins asking questions. Shouldn't I be doing more? Shouldn't I be further along? Am I falling behind? Why does this feel so slow? And without realizing it, we begin judging the season we're in. We compare it to someone else's bloom, someone else's harvest, someone else's visible success. And we forget something important. Nature does not bloom year-round. Trees do not produce fruit every day. Fields are not harvested every month. There are seasons for growth, and there are seasons for rooting, seasons for expansion, and seasons for integration. Both are necessary. And yet so many of us only trust ourselves when we're producing, when we're accomplishing, when we're moving quickly enough to reassure ourselves that progress is happening. But what if that progress isn't always visible? What if some of the most important growth in your life is happening beneath the surface? What if the season you're in right now isn't a delay? What if it's preparation? Because here's what I've learned. The roots grow before the bloom appears. The foundation strengthens before the house rises. The nervous system stabilizes before the next level can be held safely. And from the outside, that often looks like nothing. No applause, no dramatic breakthrough, no visible evidence, just quiet. And that quiet can make us restless, especially when we're used to measuring our worth through productivity. But slower seasons are not empty seasons. They are often the seasons where we heal, you integrate, you recover, you gather wisdom, you build capacity. You become the person who you can actually hold what you're asking for. And none of that is wasted. In fact, some of the most transformative seasons of your life may not look transformative while you're living them. They may simply just look quiet. And that's where trust comes in. Not trust that everything will happen exactly the way you planned, but trust that life has seasons. Trust that growth is not always visible. Trust that slowing down does not mean you're failing. Trust that rest does not mean you're falling behind. Trust that becoming is still happening, even when there is no immediate evidence. Take a breath. If you're in a slower season right now, if things feel quieter, if progress feels less obvious, if you're tempted to believe nothing is happening, I want you to consider something. Maybe this season isn't asking you to push harder. Maybe it's asking you to trust deeper. Maybe it's asking you to stop measuring your life only by visible results. Maybe it's asking you to recognize that roots matter too. Because what grows quickly isn't always what lasts. And what lasts usually spends time growing beneath the surface first. Put your hand on your chest and take one slow breath. And let these words settle into your body. I do not have to rush this season. I am not falling behind. Something important is still growing. Let your nervous system hear that. Not every season is meant to be productive. Some seasons are meant to make you ready. And sometimes, the quiet season you are questioning today becomes the foundation you are grateful for tomorrow. Trust the roots. Trust the process. Trust the slower season. Your bloom will come. And when it does, you'll understand why this season mattered too.